Greetings, everyone, and welcome. Coming back immediately with Zelensky's response to what we heard from Putin earlier. You can see in the thumbnail that, Zelensky just basically saying, I told you so. We knew, anybody that knows the Kremlin at all knew exactly what the response would be. I have Zelensky's video tonight where he responds to it. I have Yermak with his statement about the frozen conflict. And right now, as I'm making this video, breaking news about what the United States is doing, which makes me think that maybe the American delegation that was to meet with Vladimir Putin tonight, and I haven't heard anything about that, but maybe that meeting did not go so well. We have no confirmation. You realize you haven't heard anything about that meeting that was supposed to happen tonight. So we'll see. I'm speculating on that, but everything I'm giving you from here forward is facts. So here we go. Let's jump right in. I actually received some comments earlier. Greg, you can't say that the truce was rejected because Putin didn't reject it. He just wanted to start to change it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's called a rejection. So if you don't agree to what was offered, you reject it and then you counter offer. So the truce was absolutely rejected. The ball kicked back, and that is where we're at. I want to jump right in, not waste any of your time or mine because things are happening so fast. President Zelensky has made his statement. I'll play it for you. He basically said, now we have heard from Russia, which is very predictable, very manipulative words from Putin in response to the idea of silence on the front. He was already preparing a refusal. Putin, of course, in Zelensky's thought, is afraid to tell President Trump directly that he wants to continue this war. What a brilliant play on Zelensky's part. Now he's calling Putin a coward, because all he wants to do is kill Ukrainians, and that is why they're there in Moscow arranging the idea of silence in such preconditions that nothing could ever work out for us to have a truce. He will never say no directly, but he does so in a way that practically delays everything and makes normal decisions impossible. We believe that this is all now another Russian manipulation, but the bottom line, Zelensky basically calling Putin out as a coward who is afraid to speak to Trump. Let that bell ding in the Kremlin. Here's what Zelensky said.
Moreover, we've heard Putin's predictable, manipulative response to the frontline ceasefire idea. He's essentially preparing a refusal already. Putin's afraid to tell Trump he wants to continue this war and kill Ukrainians. Moscow's setting conditions to delay or prevent any progress on a ceasefire. Putin often acts this way. He doesn't say it directly, but that's what he does. This stalls and complicates normal decision-making. We see this as another Russian manipulation tactic. The U.S. proposed a full ceasefire on land, sea, and air. Ukraine accepted this proposal. The U.S. offered to organize verification with American and European capabilities. During the ceasefire, we'd address long-term security and peace plans. Ukraine's ready to work quickly and constructively. We've communicated this to American representatives. Our partners worldwide know this. We don't set complicated conditions. Russia does this. As we've always said, Russia alone will delay and be uncooperative. They want war. Putin stole peace, continuing war daily. We must pressure him now. Helpful sanctions are necessary. We'll work with global partners for peace, forcing Russia to end the war. One more thing. I commend our troops holding ground, giving diplomacy a chance, honoring National Guard and assault brigades, including unmanned forces. Thank you, warriors. Thanks to all defending and supporting Ukraine and its people. We'll ensure a worthy peace for Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine.
So there you have it, guys. That's Zelensky's direct statement tonight. In fact, while I'm recording this and that, I'm getting breaking news over here on my right screen. If you're watching this, Keith Kellogg is just removed. So we know there are some negotiations going on in the Kremlin, but I can tell you that Trump, at the request of Moscow, Trump didn't do it, at the request of Moscow, has removed Keith Kellogg from the negotiating table there in Moscow because his views are too pro-Ukrainian. You're going to see that coming out. I'm telling it to you right now. It's breaking news. As we continue with Zelensky's statement, you can see his viewpoint. He nailed it. He's called Putin a coward. You're afraid to talk to Trump. And now we're seeing things start to break at really just breakneck speed, and we're trying to stay on top of it. I I probably should just go live and we could follow everything. Let's do this. Let's go to the next one. Yermak has stated that there will be no frozen conflict. We're doing everything right. Here is Yermak.
This is crucial, and we've been clear that we'll never accept a frozen conflict. We're against it, and our stance aligns perfectly with our American partners. They also oppose a frozen conflict. They're against Minsk III or other deals like the Budapest memo that failed. Everyone realizes this and has drawn their conclusions.
No frozen conflict, no Budapest memorandums, no Minsk III, none of that's going to happen. So we're getting very strong talk, and I'm watching everything over to my right because it's actually kind of crazy. Now, in response to all of this, basically, you had Putin say no. That's easy to see. We've explored that already. Now we've had Zelenskyy come back and say, I told you so, and Yermak say, we're not going to have a frozen conflict. So then we know now Kellogg has been kicked out of the meeting, removed because he has too pro-Ukrainian view happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. As I'm recording this, it's 5:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, now what starts to unfold? Americans start dropping sanction adjustments. The Trump administration is imposing additional restrictions on Russia's oil and gas sectors, according to CBS. In addition, the United States did not renew the license for the Russian banks that conducted energy trading operations as an exception. All transactions are now prohibited under the current sanctions, except exceptions were made under President Biden. This will mean a significant increase in sanction pressure on the Kremlin immediately. In a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, this means that European countries and allies, not only Europeans, can no longer buy oil from Russia without United States sanctions. That has happened. Additionally, we also have breaking news. The United States resumed supply of GLSDB long-range bombs to Ukraine. It's because they're out of ATACMS, but these bombs will replace them. They have similar capabilities. They're upgraded, and they have a range and permission to strike at 161 kilometers with these U.S. supplied weapons. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're at. You have the breaking news update right now. Things are changing very, very fast. And as I see it, this is very positive in this phase tonight, March the 13th, for Ukraine. Thank you for standing with Ukraine. Thank you for all that you do. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting. Thanks to our moderator team, our Discord family. We're growing and we're fighting for the truth. Thank you for joining us. We'll keep you updated, as I promised, as things change. Be blessed.